How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Abyss of the Sacrifice. We've got 2 chapters left in Sixkilla's route, and assuming there's no other main endings to go after that, that will be the end of the game. So for now we're going to jump into 0, and then in the next episode we will jump into the final chapter, which will be The Surface, and then hopefully all will be revealed. Let's jump in. 0. It all started in a place much like a graveyard. It was dark and quiet. Several coffins were lined up in a row, but it wasn't completely silent. A slight mechanical whir incessantly echoed throughout the area, which distinguished it from your regular graveyard. Except a graveyard for robots. But in a sense, it was still a graveyard, because it was a place where people were put into an eternal cold sleep. Step, step. A single person's footsteps echoed on the hard floor. Someone was walking among the rows of coffin-like cold sleep machines. It was a woman. Deep, dark eyes rested in her mask-like expressionless face, but her eyes were not cold. In fact, they seemed to be bursting with fire so hot that no one would dare touch them. I hope no one touches your eyes, that would hurt. Suddenly her footsteps stopped. I finally found you. She spoke to one of the cold sleep machines. Ice crystals formed the shape of a flower on the machine's glass, and beyond the glass was the faint figure of a girl with her eyes closed. The girl was frozen. For years her time had naturally been stopped. The woman ran her finger along the coffin's plate. Sixkilla. That was the girl's name. The woman reached out to the control panel on the side of the machine. Time to set you free. Oh, okay. We're immediately going into puzzle mode, are we? Cool. Where do we even start? Ah, looks like this isn't the way. Okay, so it's these are right, these are wrong sort of one. So red is wrong, W is right but in the wrong place, something like that. A bomb is displayed. Is that how it is? Seems like that kind of puzzle, right? I assume the W's right. The O is like red still, but it's not got a bomb in it anymore. So it's not a word. Of course it's not a fucking word. H. I don't understand how we figured that out. What a joke of a security system. Once the lid was flung open, the woman could see the girl's entire figure. Her eyes were still closed in a dreamless sleep. This girl's probably better off not dreaming. But the woman was here to awaken the girl. She began to do what she came for. She touched a small machine in her hand to the girl's neck. Suddenly, the girl's frozen pale skin started gradually regaining some of its pink hue. I'm glad that kept scrolling up so I could just keep guessing. Otherwise, we'd never have done it. It's cold. The first sensation the girl felt was cold. Then she felt calm. It's strange. My mind feels really quiet. Usually when I wake up, I feel like I'm in pieces. Oh. Suddenly she knew why. It's because I didn't dream. She realized that she'd been in a cold sleep. When I'm in cold sleep, I don't have any dreams. The doctor told me that I wouldn't have nightmares or headaches. And I wouldn't encounter any more scary things. And that's how he convinced me to do this. But what's going on? I feel very cold. I'm not supposed to feel anything in cold sleep. Suddenly she heard a quiet voice in what was supposed to be a sullen slumber. You must be Sixkilla. Who are you? Instead of a reply, the woman asked a question. Do you want to get out of here? Sixkilla thought to herself before answering. Not really. There isn't anything good outside of this place. Oh? And I'll have nightmares again. Besides, the doctors do bad things to me when I'm awake. What do they do to you? They give me shots and medicine. She let out an exhausted and resigned sigh. But I think the doctors are trying to make me have dreams. Even the bad ones? Yes. I see. The woman fell silent. Understanding the silence as kindness, Sixkilla started to like the owner of the voice that she was hearing. I wonder who she is and what she looks like. Although Sixkilla wanted to take a peek, she assumed it would be impossible to open her eyes. My whole body is supposed to be frozen after all. But to her surprise, her eyes did open without much effort. You have awakened. A woman stood there. She was like a shadow. Then she took off her hood. Her flowing hair, dark eyes, and pale skin in the dim light appeared somewhat surreal. Did I wake up? Yes. But why? The doctor said I didn't have to wake up anymore. He said I'd be frozen forever. Did you not want to wake up? No, I didn't. Because of the nightmares? That's right. She suddenly had a flashback to all of the nightmares that had tortured her so far. Scary, distressing, painful, sad, lonely, cold. They all only filled her with negative emotions. There was nothing but pain. I don't want to feel that way anymore. But if I'm awake now, that means I'll have another dream soon. No, I don't want any more scary dreams. I have to freeze myself again. But as soon as fear overwhelmed her, it started again. Oh, her body felt heavy and numb, and her listless eyelids gradually began to close. Her consciousness started to fade and a white fog took over. No, my dreams are starting. I'm dreaming again. Where am I? His thoughts passed through her foggy mind. First came the light, floating sensation. Then after a while, she felt her body sway as her feet walked across the hard floor. A fog around her gradually cleared. And Jika looked around. Oh no. Her heart sank. I know this place. This is the dream I had before I was put into cold sleep. Bad things happen here. It was a huge factory zone filled with machines and twisting pipes. A shrill alarm blared through the bleak landscape. From time to time, a person's voice would interrupt the sound. All personnel must leave immediately. Evacuate the premises. I repeat, all personnel must leave immediately. Evacuate the... The quick, desperate voice filled Jika with fear. I'm scared. Her body began to tremble. Last time we were here, we were with Asuna. And Jika died at the end. So, we're on our own this time though, aren't we? It's exactly the same as my earlier dream. I want to get out of here. She spun around in the direction that she came from. To her surprise, someone was there. It was the woman she'd met before. She hadn't been in this dream last time. The woman looked around and murmured, Where are we? I see. This is the site of the accident 5 years ago. The inexplicable radiation leak at the high-level energy core. She fixed her strong gaze directly on Jika. Is this your dream? Yes. While nodding, Jika felt a little confused. Why was this person in her dream? Why her, when even the doctor had never shown up in a dream before? Interesting. So you did cause this incident? Huh? Now I understand why the Administration Bureau put an end to this project. They finally realized that Icon couldn't be controlled. The woman seemed to be talking to herself as well as to Jika, but Jika didn't understand. What? What are you talking about? The woman gazed at Jika's puzzled face. A slight sense of pity came over her, for she knew she had laid low for a few years while investigating Foundation's most classified information. It was then that she discovered Jika, the modern-day icon with the power to rewrite the world. This girl was a rare individual with special brainwaves, as well as the hospital's guinea pig. When they found her, the Administration Bureau decided to use her for their own purposes. Long ago, when people still dreamed of the surface and wished to reclaim it as their own, someone with the ability to rewrite the world was born. Calling her by the name Icon, people put all of their hopes on her. But in the end she failed, and those exact same people locked her away. Humankind gave up on rising to the surface and eventually forgot all about Icon. A few centuries passed. The current government administration rediscovered the existence of the being who could rewrite the world. This was the Administration Bureau. They had no interest in the surface. They were simply drawn to the immense power of rewriting the world. Their goal became to create the next icon. This was Jika, the unique child with special brainwaves. Per the Administration Bureau's instructions, Jika was taken to the hospital. There she was given all sorts of medical enhancements. As a result, she gained not only the ability to warp the current space-time, but also the ability to rewrite the events of the past. That was the gist of the hospital's current venture. Project Icon. At first glance, this project seemed to be headed for success, but then the accident happened. During an experiment, Jika accidentally broke through the barrier to the high-level energy core. The core went critical, many died, and the energy core block was sealed permanently. The Administration Bureau had no choice but to end the project. The hospital director was ordered to put Jika into an indefinite cold sleep. Now that cold sleep has been broken. What is your desire? The woman asked Jika. My desire? Yes, what is something you wish from the bottom of your heart? Something I wish for? She thought for a minute before whispering, I want you to freeze me again. Why, don't you want to be free? I don't want to be scared anymore. In cold sleep, I won't feel anything scary or painful ever again. Are you saying you want to rot away in your sleep? Isn't that even scarier? Rot in my sleep? Jika had never thought of it that way before. Now that the woman mentioned it, it did seem pretty scary. The woman took Jika's silence as a chance to speak. There is no one in this block to restrict you anymore. This research district has been sealed off. The doctors who bullied you will never come back. What? Everyone is gone. That includes the staff in charge of your experiments and the man you call Doctor. Really? Yes. Tears welled up in Jika's eyes. What's wrong? Why are you crying? Because... Is the Doctor really gone too? What? Did he abandon me? The woman stared at Jika's crying. This is worse than she thought. Even though this girl is terrified of her doctor, she's also completely dependent on him. At this rate, she'll never be free. She'll only ever act in the interests of what the doctor's imprinted on her. If she doesn't wish for freedom, the surface will never reappear. The woman would first have to free Jika's heart. Jika, no one is holding you captive anymore. You can go anywhere and do anything you want. Like what? You can see beautiful landscapes and doze off in comfortable places. You can do only fun things and even live in happiness. Beautiful landscapes? Fun things? But Jika only hung her head in tears. She never experienced the things the woman spoke of. The hospital had taken her before she could even remember. She had no family or friends to speak of. Every day for her had just been a chain of constant experiments. Her life itself had been like one big nightmare. Jika? You can wake up from your nightmare now. Huh? Am I dreaming right now? The woman asked a question in place of an answer. Do you know what the surface is? The surface? She thought for a second before shaking her head. No. The woman began to sing. Blossoming with foliage green and canvas with skies of blue, here one's lungs filled with air pristine while basking in the sun's warm view. At times the winds waft sweet smells of cane and caress the passing cheek. At others heavens impart the gift of rain to fill the bubbling creek. That's what the surface is like. Jika was stunned for a second, but soon cocked her head and asked, Is it different from heaven? A little bit. A slight smile spread across the woman's lips. Jika thought to herself, how could this woman have such a cold face and still look so kind? Heaven is an intangible place where people go when they die. The surface is a place where humans are supposed to live. I don't get it. Well, it's a little hard to explain with just words. The woman moved closer to Jika. Let me give you a picture. She held a medical scanner in her hand. Suddenly Jika's expression stiffened. No. What's wrong? Don't be scared. I'm just gonna download an image into your synapses nanomachines. No, that's a scary machine. The scanner in the woman's hand was the same scanner the doctors used on Jika when conducting experiments. Her intense rejection tested the woman's patience. Well, this is a problem. The mere sight of a medical tool revives serious trauma. I didn't take this into account. I feel sorry for her, but I can't back down now. Listen to me, Jika. This will help all of your bad dreams go away. No. You must open the door to paradise. You're the only one who can. I don't want any more experiments. This isn't an experiment, Jika. The woman held down Jika's flailing arms and pressed the scanner to her neck. Just as she pressed the scanner button. No, everyone is scary. Everyone should just disappear. Jika screamed. Suddenly the scenery began to warp. And then... Well, you triggered her frickin' power now. Everything turned pure white. Jika jolted awake. Where am I? The next thing she knew, she was in a small room. Several computers were lined up in front of her. The hospital and the research wing had similar rooms, but they were somehow different from this one. It still didn't change the fact that she had no idea where she was. Doctor would be mad at me for entering a strange room. Even though this was a dream to Jika, dreams weren't much different from reality. When she was moved to the children's room in the research wing, the doctor warned her many times. You are not allowed to leave this room, Jika, even in your dreams. Jika trembled. I disobeyed him again. He'll be so mad if he finds out. That woman from earlier, she said Doctor won't come back anymore. But I know that's a lie. If he finds out I woke up from cold sleep and I'm dreaming again, he'll probably come and give me a scolding. Then I'll be given lots of shots again, and have lots of scary dreams. No, I don't want that. I've had enough of scary dreams. Suddenly she remembered what the woman had told her earlier. Jika, no one is holding you captive anymore. You can go anywhere and do anything you want. She gasped. I have to get out of here. She had to wake up from this dream and escape the ice machine. Then she could run away to a place where the doctors couldn't find her. Yes, she had to leave now. What is this place? The woman who once went by Orange and now is called Chloe pushed herself up from the floor. She found herself in a small room. A line of computers was in front of her. Is this reality? No, it's another of Jika's dreams. Chloe had a pretty good idea of what was happening. Jika had been triggered by a traumatic event and activated her powers. Then Chloe was caught up in Jika's dream. What an interesting experience. She ran her fingers across one of the computers. Although this was a dream, her sense of touch and the computer's details were identical to reality. She tried turning on the computer and fiddled around with it. The date was 2 days prior to the day she'd woken Jika from cold sleep. She tried some different calculations, but they all came out accurate. It's very realistic, which means this girl's dreams more or less allow her to temporarily move through another reality's time-space. Seeing her ability to rewrite the world with her own eyes made Chloe even more certain. Now I'm sure this girl can regenerate the surface and open the door to paradise. She will help humankind recover their place on the surface. I just have to safely transfer the surface's image data to her brain. Although a little worried, she felt her plan falling back into place. She should be able to return to where she was before once Jika woke up. Then she would guide Jika, so that she too wanted to go to the surface. Only then could Jika fulfill her role as the one with black wings, and lead Chloe to the promised door. I just have to wait for her to awaken. She began to investigate the room again. It was a bleak room, but it seemed to be a lived-in space. It was probably someone's personal room. But that person has to be a tech maniac to own this many computers. I'm almost positive that they're a hacker. Chloe smiled wryly as she remembered a certain someone. Huh? Suddenly she noticed something next to the computer. A headset. Is this what the hacker uses? She suddenly had a hunch. So she pressed a few keys and brought up the login screen. Priest. Her hunch was spot on. This group of computers belonged to Priest. Is this her room? What a strange coincidence. No, it was too perfect to be a coincidence. She had stumbled upon both Priest and Jika. Are they connected somehow? According to her investigations through classified materials, Jika was able to synchronize with people in close connection or proximity to herself, and generate dreams about them. However, Priest was nowhere near them now, and Chloe couldn't think of any other connection. Was Jika affected by my psyche? Although everything was going according to plan, Chloe had one regret. That regret was Priest. I was the one who recruited the young hacker into the organization, but soon afterward my belief in the organization's ideology started to waver. At that moment I decided to alienate myself from the organization and begin my own secret plans. Priest began to devote herself more to the organization every day, and it didn't help that the organization wasn't keen on letting her go. That's why I took myself out of Priest's life. I ended up abandoning her, even though she practically worshipped me. Did Jika sense those feelings in my heart, and reflect them in her dream? I'm not sure, but I've never seen Priest's room before. How was Jika able to come here in a dream? Just as Chloe pondered over unanswerable questions, the scenery lurched. Her vision began to warp. Uh-oh. This is the same thing that had happened at the beginning of the dream. Is Jika about to wake up? She wanted to investigate Priest's room a bit more. Suddenly she thought of something. She took a book out of her bag. It was an old medical book from the hospital, which she'd planned to read later. She opened to a random page and scribbled a code in the bottom corner. Then she gently placed the book next to Priest's computer terminal. That's how the markers started. If Jika truly had the ability to rewrite reality, Priest might just see it. Come after me, Priest. If you truly wish to reach the surface, come after me. The shaking became increasingly strong and dizzying. Then Chloe was overcome with a floating sensation, as if the floor was ripped away. Jika is waking up. When she came to, she found herself standing in front of Jika's cold sleep capsule. Jika had come out of her dream, but she was nowhere in sight. The machine's lid was wide open, and only traces of her presence were left behind. She got away. The strangeness didn't stop there. An alarm was blaring through the room. A disquieting message flew across the information board. The Administration Bureau has announced an emergency situation. All citizens must follow emergency procedures. Soon enough, she felt tremors below her feet. An earthquake? It's the warping of space-time, obviously. You just woke her up. What is going on? She flew out of the room. As soon as she found a computer terminal, she She forced her way inside. Then she forcibly and illegally logged into the Administration Bureau server. In other words, she began to hack. That's strange. In a rare moment, she began to panic. Up until this point, she'd been around a lot of places. But even in this high-security research block, she'd not run into anyone. There was not a single person in sight. And now an alarm was blaring, and small tremors kept hitting the area. Yet the system had forced her. She had forced her way into was, strangely, completely stable. At first she thought of the research block alone. It had been temporarily closed off for some reason. What's happening? But then, she searched the Administration Bureau, hospital, police and fire departments, the transportation department, and even public business and individual networks. She searched every server she could think of, yet she could not find a single digital presence or phone line being used. In other words, no one but Chloe was on Foundation's entire network. How could this happen with Foundation's huge population and with the emergency alarms blaring? The alarms just started a few minutes ago. Could Foundation's entire population have already evacuated? Impossible. Chloe whispered to herself. Since the surface was currently out of the question, Foundation only had separated underground evacuation space for emergencies. The only connection to that space was the tube linear that departed from the highest station. It lacked capacity for all of Foundation's citizens to evacuate in so little time. In other words, not a single citizen evacuated? Chloe had a theory. It was a bit eccentric, but when she connected it to everything she knew, it was the only answer she could come up with. It was Jika. Jika rewrote the world. She thought back to the last words Jika had screamed. No, everyone is scary. Everyone should just disappear. Holy crap, she got rid of everyone? All of this must have happened in that moment. Jika rewrote time-space, and her wish was granted. Everyone really disappeared. What amazing power. Just the thought of it made Chloe dizzy. She caught herself on a nearby wall. Yeah, why do you think they wanted it? I was spared since I was caught up in Jika's dream, but everyone else in Foundation disappeared? In fact, Foundation itself is probably on the verge of disappearing as well. These constant earthquakes are proof of that. This is a disaster without precedence in the entire history of Foundation, and it's happening now. Jika must have wished for this entire facility to disappear. There's nothing failed about her. She's the real deal. Chloe murmured. The Administration Bureau's conclusion about the Icon project was wrong. Jika had become the true Icon. Chloe felt a hot trembling inside of her. She can do it. This girl can definitely regenerate the surface, except there's nobody left. The legions will be completed. She got to her feet. I must do what I can. I have to search for the forgotten path to the surface that our ancestors created long ago. Then I must find Jika again. Next time she will lead me with her wings. Suddenly a blinking light appeared in the corner of her eye. A notification appeared on the computer screen. It was an alert to tell her that someone else had accessed the Administration Bureau server. She checked the ID. Priest. Chloe quickly hid her own ID and online presence. Then she began tailing the new presence to make sure it was really Priest. Priest's ID did the same thing Chloe had just done. It went around the Administration Bureau and all its related department servers, as well as all the public servers. She was clearly panicking about the fact that there were no online presences. Her speed was amazing. I know these techniques, it's definitely Priest. She didn't disappear. While wondering if it was a coincidence, Chloe also felt somewhat relieved. The power of your bad luck is no joke, Priest. She remembered the guidepost she had left for Priest, and Jika's dream. She had faith in Priest. I'm sure she'll know what it means when she finds it. Were my actions a work of fate? A thought suddenly passed through her mind. In which case, it's not bad luck. In fact, maybe you truly were the one chosen by the one with black wings. Chloe logged out and quickly turned off the computer. Come after me, Priest. I'll search for the path to the surface in my own way, so follow my lead. When the time comes, I will call you, Chloe. Jika awoke and was under the same ceiling as yesterday. It looks like I'm all alone now. She repeated the same phrase from the day before, too. Her voice was as exhausted and resigned as an old woman's. She spent several days dozing by herself. Every day she would have a nightmare and then say the exact same thing when she woke up. Looks like I'm all alone now. By now she'd become desensitized to the horror of her nightmares. Unlike when traveling with the other girls, all the dreams were now of her past. I know what's coming next, but I have no strength to change it. Even if I did change something, I won't find a route that leads to my happiness. My nightmares will eventually end if I put up with them for a while. Jika turned her body and looked at her forearm. Tattoo-like numbers floated above her skin. These numbers now read 001. I'm finally at the end. A deep sigh slipped from her lips. I'll probably die when the numbers reach 0. So my next dream is my last. I used to be so scared of the decreasing numbers on my arm. But as her death inched closer by the minute, she now felt completely calm. If I have to live in this vacant place all alone, I'd much rather die. I should just end it now. She closed her eyes. With this dream it will all end. But I don't care if I never wake up in this desolate place ever again. I want to go where the others are. Guys, she whispered under her breath, it would be nice if this last dream was at least of all of you. She drifted off to sleep. When the fog cleared, a voice called out to her, Jika? She spun around to find the 4 girls standing behind her. Miki? Asuna? Olga? And Chloe. Jika's eyes widened as she exclaimed, It's you! Long time no see. Olga smiled. How have you been? Miki waved. I bet you've just been sleeping a lot. Chloe smirked. Jika's eyes filled with tears. Why didn't you come to my dreams sooner? What are you talking about? You just never thought to dream of us before. Asuna spoke as sharply as ever with a frown. Jika had missed his face so much that she smiled through her tears. Asuna, she ran over and wrapped her arms around her friend. Hey, what's your problem? Pause off. As Asuna tried to pry her away, Jika held on tighter. As the others looked on, they all, even Chloe, burst out laughing. I'm so glad to see you all again. She breathed a sigh of relief. I never knew I could choose my dreams. Well, you never were much of a thinker. That's not very nice, Chloe. Sorry, that's just who I am. Chloe's deadpan joke felt so natural that Jika couldn't help but laugh. See? Jika didn't take it personally. That isn't the problem, you're just always so... Uh-oh, another lecture. Miss Class President? Who are you calling Class President? Ooh, Olga is scary when she's mad. But she's more of a bossy teacher than Class President. Asuna. What are you laughing at, Miki? Huh? The angrier she gets, the more of a hysterical teacher she becomes. You can say that again. Hey! Jika grinned as she watched the 4 girls argue. It's so strange. We used to fight all the time on our journey. We're fighting now too, Chloe interrupted Asuna to clarify. But we're not at each other's throats. Hey, you don't have to be so dark. As the 4 girls continued to chat, Jika whispered softly, This is fun. Huh? Miki spun around. Don't you mean annoying? No, it was much scarier, boring, and lonely when I was on my own. Jika... Olga softly patted Jika on the head. Even Asuna gently poked her cheek. Wow. You can actually say how you feel now. Jika giggled. I wish this moment would last forever. I want to be with you guys forever, just like this. Chloe suddenly panicked. What are you saying? You just want to waste time here like idiots? No way. Asuna seemed similarly discontent. I don't want that either. What? Jika sadly furrowed her brow. Why not? Because we all want to get out of here, Jika. Despite Olga's gentle explanation, Jika stubbornly shook her head. But that's impossible. No, it's not. I'm sure we'll get out. Asuna nodded in agreement. That's right. We still have a lot of things we want to do. Guys? Jika lowered her gaze. But I like how things are now. It's fun and I can't change the world anymore anyway. What? What do you mean by that? Olga looked confused. This is my last dream. I won't be able to dream anymore after this. What's this about your dreams? Chloe interrupted. Her usual scheming look returned to her face. Tell us more. Well, apparently my dreams changed the world. That's why that woman told me to dream of the surface. Olga, Miki, and Asuna exchanged confused glances. This isn't a dream, right? But Chloe seemed excited. Oh, I get it. You're Icon, she exclaimed. Your role has been to recreate the world. Her eyes sparkled with complete understanding. To be continued. Oh, there wasn't very much puzzle in that. I'm pretty happy about that. Because the puzzles have been wrecking me. Lots of revelations though. I can't wait to get into the next episode. It's going to be amazing. So we're going to wrap this one up here. In the next one, we're going to be doing this surface. And hopefully all of the last little bits and pieces that we need to learn will all fall into place. I love that feeling when everything just falls into place. It's like when you get the perfect Tetris. Not that I've ever had the perfect Tetris. When you see other people have the perfect Tetris on YouTube. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting out for me, and I'll see you in the next one.